Here's a piece of advice that I have learned and I want to pass on to you. No matter what happens in life, no matter what it is you do, no matter what stumble, obstacle, or hurdle that you have to get around, through, or over, you're never going to be criticized by anybody who's doing better than you.
This is Henry from New York, and I listen to the E.I.T.H.R podcast with my homie Decal.
Crush all the struggles and pressures that get in your way, big or small, minor or major. We all are fighting demons that others do not know about. But it's how you handle it that makes it look easy. Shop at Mile.today. Again, Mile, M-I-L-E.today. Mile.today.
You're listening to the E.I.T.H.R podcast with your host, Decal.
Happy Monday, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy Decal here with the E.I.T.H.R podcast from the GNSH. Actually, I'm not in the GNSHQ. I say that out of habit because I'm usually doing that. But this is going to be the second week where we do what's called a Monday meetup or Meetup Monday, however you want to word it. And it's brought to you by Mile. Make it look easy. The clothing line sponsored by the GNS Inc. So you go to mile.today to peep that out. So what the Monday meetup is, we come out to different areas based on our listenership of the people of the podcast and try to get a little bit engaged with the people, with the public. So right now we happen to be in Davis, California. So what's good, Yolo County? How y'all doing? Last Monday we were at Folsom, California. We had a lot of numbers increasing from the podcast of people listening on Spreaker. So you can go to Spreaker, download that app, fill out a profile, and you can listen to the E.I.T.H.R at any point in time you want, as well as you could also with Spotify, iHeartRadio, Podchasers, or wherever you get your podcast from. But just want to give a shout out to Davis, California, because they took the reins from Folsom, which was going to be a second week in a row, but Davis happened to be the one this week. So to those who are new, the E.I.T.H.R is the elephant in the room, where we talk about topics and subjects that are usually difficult for people to have conversations within their circle. Most of the time, the conversations are usually short-sighted, one-sided, where it's just people yelling at each other. They're not really worried too much about getting their understanding of the conversation, but more just trying to force their right version on you. So we look at things from a multitude of angles. So even if you walk away from listening to this podcast not agreeing with what it is that we speak on, or if you don't change your perspective, if you will, on what you're seeing, at least you'll have more of an informed opinion about what it is you don't agree with. We don't like to look at everything from one way. We try to look at it from a multitude of different ways, because I rather understand what I'm not liking, because there might be something that I'm missing to make me say, oh, I didn't know that piece of information. So that's what we do here at the E.I.T.H.R podcast. We also do what's called a shout out and inspirational motivational piece. So what we're going to do is we're going to give a shout out to my people's Delivering with a Purpose. You can go ahead and find her on Instagram with delivering_with_a_purpose. She does gig work when it comes to delivering services throughout Northern California, and she has some content on YouTube, which is the same handle, Delivering with a Purpose. You can go to her IG and find all that stuff out. And she's had a lot of people from Wisconsin, Canada, Florida, I believe she said Texas, and Victorville, Porterville, somewhere down in the southern part of Central California that's been reaching out to her. So her name is starting to ring out a little bit. So I just want to go ahead and give a shout out to her on her content. She's also been having some moments where she feels that the negative content that people put on the comment section, you trolls out there, I'm not going to say it was discouraging her, but that shit does put some weight on some shoulders. And someone reached out to her to thank her for her information and for her content and for her perspective, because it's been very informative to them. And so it kind of made her say, you know what? I'm going to do this for the people. She didn't say exactly that, but that's kind of what her whole mind shift was not listen to the naysayers, right? So, and as you heard at the beginning of this episode, you're never going to be criticized by those who are doing better than you. You just won't. So keep that in mind. Now, when it comes to inspirational, motivational, take a look at your situation, and if you're not happy where you're at, the beauty about that is you can alter that, you can change that, you can correct that, you can adjust that. One of the issues with people, myself is included, whether it comes to your financial situation, your personal situation, your love life, your health, whatever the case is, the issue isn't, and one of the great Les Brown said this, the issue with people is not that we aim high and miss, but when it comes to certain goals we want to achieve, we aim low and we hit. We have low expectations of what we can do, and when we achieve those low expectations, we get discouraged thinking that's all we can do. What you need to do is put your head the fuck up and look at higher, harder targets, hone your focus, and strike there. Even if you miss at that target, your trajectory will land you someplace else, and you can always take another shot. It's the E.I.T.H.R podcast with your boy D-Cal. We are going to be right back after this word from our sponsor and get right into this episode number 93. Be right back. What up, everybody? It's your boy D-Cal, host of the E.I.T.H.R podcast. Listen, are you trying to promote your brand? Whether it is your podcast, whether it's your jewelry, whether it's a music, whatever the case may possibly be. Listen, business cards are a thing of the past now. Okay? What you want to do is you want to go ahead and get yourself a follow. Okay? It's really, really simple. Give your market a more direct, instant connection to your brand. Simply tap and connect, just like that. Next time you're having a conversation with somebody, instead of them having to enter in your phone number and name, you take your popper, you tap their phone, and your information is digitally transferred to their device. Whether it's your Instagram, your Facebook, your storefront, it doesn't matter. Listen, go to the E.I.T.H.R Instagram page, find the highlight, get the promo code, save when you purchase. Let's get it poppin'. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the E.I.T.H.R podcast. You can find us on social media, E.I.T.H.R, on Instagram as well as Twitter. The handles are the same. You can also find us on TikTok with the parent company, which is the GNS Inc. You can also find us on YouTube, and you can listen to the previous episodes of the podcast. Just search youtube.com/the GNS Inc. In addition, GNS ETV, which is our own television/streaming channel that we've created. We got some content up there right now going, so you can go to gnsetv.com. You can create a profile. It's free subscription, doesn't cost you anything. And check out what we got up there. So there's different playlists that I put up periodically throughout the week. Right now, it's kind of what's playing. So you'll get a selection of some old school movies. You'll get some educational things from NASA. You'll get some artwork from some of the people that I network with, like Miss Mojo 6 on TikTok. And you'll eventually going to get some motivational, encouraging posts, tweets, comments, verbal advice. Because I have a playlist that's also for inspirational, and I have a playlist that we're doing for art and scenery. So kind of like white noise. So gnsetv.com. Go ahead there, subscribe to that. Greatly appreciate. So what I want to get into today, as you saw in the description, 3 things that we're going to talk about. And we're going to kind of go in a particular order. And this is important. I want to lead off with this. The value of having credible people in your life. Listen, man, it's in today's world especially, everyone has an opinion. And I remember there was a point where when it came to news, whether it was world news or news in entertainment or music, breaking news. And I was listening to a radio station the other day, and back when MTV was like it, when MTV was literally music television, that's what you played. You had people like Chris Loder, you had Tabitha Soren, you had certain figures that gave us the news, particularly in the world of entertainment, that you wouldn't get traditionally on Fox or NBC or CNN or ABC or any of the letter channels, right? And so with Chris Loder or Tabitha Soren or anyone of that nature kind of gave us the news, we knew that was it. That was legit. It was vetted, it was sourced, it was credited. You knew what was going on. Fast forward into today's world, everything is first. Everything is first. The beauty about that is breaking news can happen at any point in time. The bad thing about that, it doesn't have to be accurate. So what happens is we now are in a world where when people say things we agree with, we label that as right information. Listen, everyone who agrees with me is not right. It just means that they think like I do. Doesn't make them right. It doesn't make it valid. It just makes it easier for us to become friends because we think the same. But that shit don't mean anything. Most of the time, not all the time, the information that you were unaware of or the information that you don't agree with sometimes has truth in it. It's just information you don't want to accept. The 3 topics that are huge on this: money, religion, politics. The problem with that is we don't want to deal with anything that doesn't sit well with our belief. And the problem with that, we don't necessarily see what's accurate. So that's the issue. We're actually going to give you guys a part 2 to this episode because there's some issues going on with the equipment. So we're going to continue episode 93.